Hello and welcome. Today we're going to explore one of the most powerful, most pivotal dialogues in the entire Quran. It's a moment that really defines the nature of truth and falsehood, and it has so much to tell us about our own hearts.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
This one line from Surah Sād is really the foundation for everything we're about to discuss. It sets the stage for this absolute final confrontation that kind of lays out the spiritual architecture of our reality.
So you might be thinking this is just an ancient story, about angels and devils. But it's so much more than that. It's actually a mirror. We're going to dive into how this first, epic no is still echoing inside of us, in our own lives, our egos, and the choices we make every single day.
Okay, so let's picture the scene. God has just created Adam, honoring humanity in this incredibly special way. He then commands the angels to prostrate, and they all do. All of them, except for one. And that's where this destiny-shaping dialogue begins.
What's so powerful about this question is the tenderness and the honor in it. God doesn't just ask why he refused. He points out the special status of humanity, created with his own hands, which is this incredible sign of care and dignity. The question gets right to the heart of it. Was this arrogance? And there it is. The first, I am better. This isn't just a simple no. It's a whole argument, a justification based on what he sees as a kind of elemental superiority. This is the voice of the ego, and it thinks its logic is absolutely flawless. The consequence is swift and total. Now the curse, the classical scholar al-Rāzī explains, it's not just a punishment, it's a state of being. It means separation, distance from the divine source. You could say that pride creates its own exile. But here's what's so fascinating. Even in his defiance, Iblis knows his own limits. He swears by God's own power that he'll try to mislead humanity, but right away he admits there's a group he can't touch, the sincere, the purified ones, the mukhlasīn. That exception is absolutely crucial.
God's final response isn't really a threat. It's more like a declaration of truth itself. It's a statement of cosmic law. It's the universe confirming that truth has a destiny, and the falsehood that stems from arrogance, it has a destiny too.
So that's the raw dialogue. Now let's start peeling back the layers, starting with the outer meaning, the clear theological boundaries this incredible story draws for us. On a literal level, the message is crystal clear, right? Sin isn't just an accident. It's a conscious refusal fueled by pride. Humanity is deeply honored. That curse means separation from God. And while evil gets some room to operate, its power is not absolute. And the ultimate shield? Sincerity. Okay, now we go deeper. The Sufi masters looked at this cosmic drama, and they didn't just see it as something that happened way back when. They saw it as an X-ray of the human soul. They asked the real question, where does this exact same confrontation play out inside of me?
And this is where it gets really interesting. The symbolism of fire and clay perfectly captures this inner battle. Iblis's pride in being from fire represents the ego. It's impulsive, it's reactive, it always wants to rise up. Adam, from clay, symbolizes humility. He's steady, he's grounded, he's willing to bow. It's like the early mystic Tustari said, the ego will always choose the fire that rises over the clay that bows.
And this is the point that brings it all home. God's question to Iblis, it's a question he asks each and every one of our hearts. Think about those moments of conflict when we just refuse to apologize or admit we're wrong. What is that little voice inside us really saying? It's whispering that same ancient line, I am better.
But believe it or not, there's an even deeper layer here. It's like a hidden metaphysical code, and it's embedded right into the Arabic word itself, revealed through a mystical system of numerology called abjad.
Okay, so stick with me here. This is really cool. The Arabic word for he was arrogant is astakbara. In the abjad system, every single letter has a number value. So, as you can see, when we add up the values for each letter in astakbara, we get a total of 683. Then we reduce the number by adding its digits. 6 plus 8 plus 3. That's 17. One last time. 1 plus 7 gives us our final root number, which is 8. So what's the big deal about the number 8? Well, in this mystical tradition, it represents constriction, limitation, being enclosed or trapped. The message is just so profound. The very essence of arrogance, encoded in the word itself, is that it shrinks your soul. It boxes you in. While humility, that's what sets you free.
And what's wild is how this ancient spiritual insight lines up almost perfectly with modern psychology. Concepts like ego rigidity, superiority bias, narcissistic rage, these are all just clinical terms for the state of Iblis. And just like the Qur'an tells us, modern studies show that sincerity and authenticity, what we call ikhlas, is the cure. It makes the ego less fragile.
So we've looked at the outer meaning. We've felt the inner echo. We've even uncovered the hidden code. Now, let's bring it all home and see this as a path of return for our own hearts.
This story really reminds us that the biggest drama isn't out there somewhere. It's right here, inside of us. So it invites us to ask a gentle, honest question. Where in my life do I refuse to bow? Where do I insist on being right, no matter the cost?
Remember, the whole logic of Iblis started with, I am better than him. So where does that same logic of comparison show up in our lives? At work, in our relationships, maybe even in our spiritual lives? Where does it blind us from seeing the divine light shining in someone else? And this, right here, might be the most powerful reframe of all. The path of humility isn't about beating ourselves up or thinking we're worthless. True humility, as they say, isn't thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. It's about coming back to our true, dignified, clay-like nature, the very state in which we were first honored by God. And the Surah ends on this beautiful note of certainty. It's a promise, really. A promise that every truth we resist, every sign we ignore, it all comes to light eventually. In the end, truth has the final word. Always. This exploration was compiled by Mir Ali Shah, drawn from the incredible Living the Wisdom of the Qur'an series. If any of this resonated with you, I really truly encourage you to seek out more of those reflections. Thank you so much for joining us.